The mic drop.
That man is a product of a poor environment. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. I can prove it.
Of course, there's something wrong with him. He's a Negro.
Somebody drop this fool for me.
The mic drop. The mic drop. Yo, what's up, fam? It's your boy Big Mike. Welcome to another episode of the Big Mike Drop. I want to start today's show off on a not so great note. Since the last time we did the last show, received some terrible news. Some people that I know, people I'm acquainted with, and they suffered a terrible loss. And I want to start today's show off by honoring this young man. I had the opportunity to meet this young man one time, and he was a very respectful young man and had plenty of potential. But I do want to have a moment of silence to get started for Ladarius Clarity. He was killed last week. We did the show Thursday. He was murdered in Pensacola, Florida, early Thursday morning. I didn't get the news until Friday morning after we did the show. And my condolences and my thoughts and love go out to the family. It's a rough time right now. So we're gonna keep them in our prayers and rest in peace to this young king. And he just, I don't know. He was a legend. This has been bothering me ever since it happened. And this is really what influenced me to write this podcast. I'm tired of hearing bad news. You know, whenever I hear bad news, it really reminds me of the condition that we're in this nation. It's not just him. It's so many of us every day suffering from violence. And this is not violence from the dominant society, inflicted from the dominant society onto us. This is violence that we inflict on each other. And at what point in time does it stop? You know, I know everybody's used to me being jovial and having a good time, but, you know, everybody has a breaking point. Everybody has a breaking point. And I think I'm at mine when it comes to hearing bad news. We have way too much potential to continue doing this to one another. So I'm going to talk about it tonight. I'm going to start the conversation tonight because, no, I don't hate being black at all. I love being black, but there are things that I do hate about being black in this country. And I'm talking about foundational Black American. Even though I know some of my immigrant brothers go through the same thing. So We're going to buckle in tonight. And I'm going to walk it down real slow tonight. You're on a big mic drop. And I'm going to get started because I got to gain my composure here. I'm going to get started. Now, last week with the release of Bill Cosby, and I'm sure everybody is familiar with what's going on with that. Everybody's familiar with the Cosby situation and, you know, the charges basically being dropped and him never being able to be charged again. But what I saw in the aftermath of that is what really concerned me about us. I'm going to play some videos tonight. I'm going to read an article or two tonight, and I'm going to break this thing down real slow. Real slow. I'm going to turn the comments on as well and see who we got in the comments, and we'll also, you know, take some phone calls. I don't expect this to be a very popular podcast tonight. I don't. I expect a lot of pushback from this, and it's okay. This is something that has to be said. This has to be talked about on larger platforms. My platform isn't the largest, but I'm going to do my part. If I don't do something, I'm going to go crazy. So these are 10 things I hate about being black in this experience that we're having in the United States of America. So we're going to jump right in. We lie to and about each other for trinkets and rewards from white people. You dead wrong for that one. And I don't have to point any fingers on this. We all know it happens. But let something like a job be in play. Let something like a job be in play. And watch how we devour each other. Let some money be in play. And watch how we devour each other. Let somebody do something that pisses you off. And watch how we devour each other. Whether it be for likes, which is the trinket. Whatever likes I get on YouTube, white folks give me them likes. You may hit the like button, but it's still up to YouTube, who's owned by white folks, to give me the likes. So if I'm out here presenting clickbait just to get likes, if I'm out here dogging out other black folks just to get likes, that's a problem to me. Whenever somebody has to do that to another person, that's a problem to me. And we do that to each other all the time. I've seen this. I've worked and work. And I see this happen on jobs. I see that ninja going to the office to tell on the other black dude. Maybe brother a little hungover and whatnot. You know, I've seen dudes that are intimidated by a young dude that may come in that's virile. I've seen this at these plant jobs, places where people are struggling for resources and we're scraping for resources. I understand scraping for resources, but at what point in time do you not bear false witness against your neighbor? Cats lying to get out of trouble. Cats lying to get out of prison. Prison time. People lying for money. That's something we got to stop. That's something that really upsets me. That's something I really hate about us. And I'm not saying that white people and other people don't lie. Don't get me wrong. Everybody lies. Everybody lies on each other, but everybody doesn't have the same experience or the same situation we have. At what point in time are we going to have the situational awareness enough to understand that we need to stick together? I I can't say right or wrong. But we need to do a better job of sticking together. This is the angry black guy, the ABG Productions. This is what that's named after, because I'm hot right now. I don't understand this. And I'm not going to be here long because I'm going to break this down really quick and really thorough tonight. V Lane said, we have to have a part 2 of this. Yeah, we're going to have to have a part 2 of this, because this isn't a discussion that's going to be wrapped up in an hour-long podcast. But I'm going to throw it on the table. I'm going to throw the chips on the table. Let's go to the 9th reason I hate being black. I hate about being black, not hate being black. I hate about being black. Big difference. We believe white people and not each other. And I got a video to show you, and I started showing this video last week, but there's so much information locked in this video, so much game locked in this video. But this interview with Mark Lamoist Hill and Tarana Burks and what's her name? Brittany Duck. What's the lady's name? Brittany Cooper. Last week said a lot because these folks were downright lying. Now, keep in mind, the charges against Bill Cosby were not proved. They weren't proven in the court of law, which is why he walked. Now, check this out. Now, this is a good case study. This is a very interesting case study. Mark Lamont Hill is giving me a whole lot of content right now. He's giving a lot of people on YouTube a lot of content right now with his antics because he's the main one. He's capping and co-signing for trinkets from white folks. That Black News Network, the Black News Channel, BNC, it sounds a lot like DNC to me. BNC is owned by an Arab dude.
Somebody dropped this fool for me.
It's owned by an Arab dude. So all this black aspiration and black ownership that doesn't really exist. These are carrots that are put out there for you to chase. But check this video out. Let me pull this up.
60. That's.
I'm going to play this for a few minutes because I want you to understand thoroughly where I'm coming from. I am actually getting faster with my production. Boom. I'm a full screen it.
60 women accused Cosby of rape or sexual misconduct. The accusations run from the 1960s to 2018. Those accusations stopped in 2018 because he was convicted and put inside of a prison. For some, the stories of women not heard and not believed symbolize the challenges survivors of sexual violence face all too often. For those who grew up in America, really, they grew up proud to see Bill Cosby as America's TV dad. Yet those allegations tainted the image of a positive black father figure. From the 1960s to the Me Too era of today, a lot has changed, including how we think about sexism, patriarchy, and of course, rape culture. Here to talk about how seeing Cosby walk free could be affecting different parts of our society, I'm joined by two guests. Dr. Brittany Cooper, she is Associate Professor at Rutgers University. I'm also joined by Tarana Burke. She's an activist and founder of Me Too. Dr. Cooper, I'm going to start with you. What is your reaction when you see that the court overturned Bill Cosby's conviction and he walked out of a prison this afternoon?
Look, I am appalled. I think that this is a setback for survivors. I believe the women who...
Now you hear that? Right there. First thing out of her mouth is, I believe the women. Now, if the women couldn't prove it in the court of law, why in the fuck do you believe them? Why do you believe them? This is what I'm talking about. Now, keep in mind as well, how many percentage of those women were white women? And you just believe them. These women had criminal records and everything else. And the media failed to show that. True Hands Boxing, black dude talking about the Me Too movement. Absolutely, man. You hear this? Do you really hear this clown? But check it out. She already said she believed the white chicks, right? They couldn't prove their case, by the way. But she believes them.
Accused Bill Cosby. And I think that they deserve justice. And I think that that's the conversation we should be having. I'm deeply disturbed by any narrative in the Black community that says that, you know, like, look, Bill Cosby built the latter part of his career really after the 2000s. He built his career by shaming poor Black folks.
Another lie. Bill Cosby wasn't building shit by the mid 2000s. Bill Cosby had already built. Bill Cosby had a foundation that went back into the 60s. But notice how she's trying to change the narrative in the Black community. She wants to change the narrative amongst Black folks. She wants us to outcast Bill Cosby, which a lot of us already did. Let's keep it real.
And so now they have to listen to analyses that say things like, well, you know, he needs to be let out on this technicality because Black folks get railroaded into the prison
It was not a technicality. Another lie.
system. Those are the very Black men and Black women that he spent his career demonizing while he was the one that was going around, you know, acting in concert with the worst stereotypes that white people have made up about who Black men are. And I would.
And she's not playing a part in making up or strengthening the stereotype. So she's casting it off that white people made it up. But right now it's 3 Black people sitting on the news talking about some cases that some white women couldn't prove.
Somebody drop this fool for me.
Peep game now. Peep game. We believe white people, not each other.
Appeal to Black men who keep on trying to defend Cosby to say, look, he's part of the problem for you. He is part of the reason that white people feel emboldened in these stereotypes about violent Black men who want to rape white women, because while other Black men were lynched and unfairly railroaded, he used the cloak of his power and his visibility to go around and actually harm white women, meaning while pretending.
Now she just admitted that they're white and she believes all of them, the women who couldn't prove their case. I love when I pause this video. I've had this video on the show before. I love when I pause this video on this chick's face because it always looks like a snarl. It looks like the face of a very angry woman, a very angry woman. And when I look at her, all I think about is thick brown toenails. Thick brown toenails. Let's continue.
To be an upstanding gentleman, right? And shaming Black folks who could not participate in that kind of middle class fantasy. And so he doesn't deserve any mercy from Black communities. He doesn't deserve the absolution of our narrative about white supremacy. He's a violent, self-admitted rapist who drugged women and raped them, had sex with them without their consent, which is rape. And that is the only conversation that we should be having.
Has she ever given sexual consent? That's the conversation we should have.
Listen, I completely agree. It is all I could think about were the survivors today and what they must be feeling and how gut-wrenching it is. People have to know that very few people who survive sexual violence in this country see any kind of recourse. No matter what you believe, whether you believe in the legal system or not, this 1% of all rape cases actually see conviction. Rape cases that actually go to trial see conviction. 1%.
I don't believe that.
So it's very, very rare to see anybody go to jail for committing sexual assault. So
I got a question. If 99% of the rape charges are filed 20 years after it happens, is it a wonder that 1% only gets convicted? Are these people getting the necessary tests done? See, these aren't questions that these people are asking. These people are on a mission. They're targeting somebody, and they're targeting Bill Cosby. But like the people in the black YouTuber sphere say, Bill Cosby is a proxy for us. And I'm almost starting to believe that.
It's you know, it was really disheartening, mostly to see the comments from people and to see Black people celebrating this like a victory. This is not a victory. In fact, even if you are of the belief that Bill Cosby shouldn't be in jail, right? Whether you're an abolitionist or you just got ashy politics, if you believe Bill Cosby shouldn't be in jail, that's one thing. But to celebrate victory for Black people is just wrong. It's wrong. We can both say, fine, I want him to come out, or it's time for him to come home, if that's your belief, and say he is guilty, absolutely, unquestionably guilty of raping, sexually assaulting women, many of those women who are Black women.
So this is an interesting, Brittany, Toronto just raised some.
Man, look, this dude pisses me off. Honestly, he was really a big part of why I decided to write this show as well. He played a major role in it, just watching his interviews and his Twitter and his whole social media presence over the last few days. This dude is a certified, you know what. Look, I'm gonna try not to do a lot of cursing tonight on this show, because I feel like I can get my point across without cursing people out. Because if I start cussing, it's gonna be ugly. I'm gonna be doing a lot of those tonight, though. You feel me? G Green checking in. G Green in the building checking in. Yo, we talking about the 10 things I hate about being Black. 10 things I hate about being Black. What are some things that you hate? We're gonna open up the phone lines here in a minute. We're gonna get it popping, man. It's about to get heated up in here as we get further down in the list. And I did try to put this list in a hierarchy, in some side, some sort of hierarchy, because everything isn't necessarily, and at this end, isn't necessarily the most important thing. The most important thing is going to be number one. So I did try to do it in an order of priority, I guess I should say. So if you're joining us, number 10 was we lied to and about each other for trinkets and prizes from white folks. That was number 10. And these three people on the screen right now are examples of that. There are also examples of number 9. We believe white people are not each other. You heard that lady say she believed 60 white drug addict women, or whatever, however many women there were throughout the 60s, which was the sexual revolution. Shout out to Judge Joe Brown for bringing that up against this punk. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this for real. Because Joe Brown put that shit into a historical context. And I'm Mr. Fire history teacher, so everything has to go into a context. Look, if it didn't happen 25 years or less, then it's not history. 25 years or more, 25 years ago or more. 25 years or less is journalism. Because you don't understand the historical implications of things until 25 years after they happen. He's like, I want to meet the man who tried to holler at the founder of the Me Too movement. She looked like KRS-One. I call her Tirana S1. T. Lee said, good one. Good one. G. Green, romanticizing of suffering in the Black community. Like you're not legitimate if you don't struggle. Absolutely.
The mic drop.
Absolutely, G. Green. I hit the wrong button on that one. Absolutely. Trying to fit each other into a box of experience in order to legitimize your Blackness. Let's talk about it tonight, man. I'm really waiting to open these phone lines up because I want to hear what y'all got to say tonight. You tune into the big mic drop, and we getting the smoker fired up. We smoking on Black Pack tonight. So we're going to go to the next one. Number 8. Let me get these clowns off my screen. Let me get them off my screen. I don't need them right now. We actually gonna come back to these clowns. We're gonna come back to these clowns. This is a circus. And it's definitely some monkeys in that motherfucker. Excuse me. I said I wasn't gonna cuss. Number 8. We don't speak out consistently. We just act out periodically. We don't speak out consistently. We just act out periodically. So how many times have you seen a situation of injustice and it's enough of us to really ride and make some shit happen? And I think most people will be able to equate this to a job. Okay, you got this boss. He's a jerk. He's treating everybody like an asshole. You think he may be racial. How many times do you have more black people than white people in a building and you know some racial shit is going on and you won't do anything about it because it's just enough Negroes to be scared to even the score? So if the real riders want to go in, they're going to get beat. But then let something happen like with George Floyd. Let something happen somewhere away from us to where we really don't have to do anything, but we can express the right amount of outrage and maybe get some new sneakers. We don't speak out consistently. We just act out periodically. Do you realize that it's almost like North Korea? What do people say about North Korea when North Korea get to tripping? You know, North Korea start tripping every few years. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Yo, what up, bro? Hey, what's up? Yo, what's up? All right, word. Appreciate it, brother. All right, man. Thank you. Yo, that's my neighbor showing me some love. Shout out to Omar. I always have to answer when it's my neighbor because he doesn't really call me a lot. So when he calls me, it's important. I have to answer that. So I apologize about that. You were tuned into the Big Mike Drop. So 10 things I hate about being black. And notice I didn't say 10 things I hate about black people because guess what? It ain't all black people. And G Green is basically letting all skin folk ain't kin folk. Exactly. I got a story tonight that's going to shock y'all. Y'all stick with me tonight because I got a story that's going to shock y'all tonight. It's something that a lot of us may not have known, but it's a reality in our history that we need to talk about. And we need to get to the bottom of the spirit that's involved in this. But think about that. We don't speak out consistently. We just act out periodically. What can we do to change that? What can we do to change that? Why do certain things bother us and other things don't? Things that should bother us don't. Number 7. We have the worst entertainers and politicians. We have the worst entertainers and politicians. Check it out. Boom. This is what we're working with in the entertainment field. This is what we got going on right now. Nice little artwork from your boy, yours truly. Thank you. You're welcome. We have the worst entertainers and the worst politicians. You want to talk about politicians? All right. We always get happy when we get black people in high positions. But guess what? Them niggas never do shit. Now let's take this into consideration. Let's be honest with one another for one moment. Raphael Warnock was the holdout vote, right? That's our senator from Georgia. He's the holdout vote. He's the vote that's going to be the tiebreaker. Well, Kamala Harris will be a tiebreaker, honestly. But basically, if Warnock decided he wanted to hold out on some shit, right, in order to get something done for black folks, like some reparations or, whatnot. Maybe the anti-lynching bill. Maybe you can hold out on the Asian hate bill or some of these other bills that they're trying to push through while pushing us to the back. He could do that right now. He does not have to vote on party lines with everything. We have the worst entertainers and politicians, and I'm putting them both in the same category because they're both about playtime. They're playing. They're playing. Let me get back to my notes. Damn it. The black entertainer. Look at it. One more time. Look at it. The prototype Omega being that levels the playing field with playtime. G. Green said they're letting people outside of our culture, showing our culture, and we're not holding BET, for instance, accountable and making our collective voice. We need more Damon Dash type of voices in the forefront. I'm fucking with D Dash because he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. These cats, if you've noticed, they never have anything to say about anything going on socially. Very few rappers nowadays are making socially conscious music. You know something? Let me find something. I want y'all to hear this. Let me find this. I want y'all to hear this. And I've played it on the show before, but I got to find it and let y'all hear it again. Let's see if I can get this to play. Give me one moment. Y'all bear with me. Y'all bear with me. Let me get this to play. I'm going to stop that. Because I feel like this is something important you should understand about your entertainment industry. Give me my thing. All right, check this out. This is Crazy Bone on his podcast, the letter is, September 16th,
The
2020.
secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. Damn. So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making
my bad, folks.
My story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Hit that thumbs up button and that like button.
So we're going to tell the story.
We're going to tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they going to do?
They after us. Look,
black man.
So look. So he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way they wanted.
All right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know
we
would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very...
Y'all peep game. Hey, y'all joining the Big Mic Drop. If y'all just joining, you're on the Big Mic Drop. We're talking about the 10 things I hate about being black. We're on number 7. We have the worst entertainers and politicians. If you're just joining, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. And also,
clear on
stay tuned.
Manners and consequences were stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, Jake.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol. No, for
real though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments.
I'm gonna run that
back. The companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who receive funding from the government based on the number of inmates.
Mm-hmm.
The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons.
Mm-hmm.
It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become solid investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remained filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promotes criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we also be able to buy stocks in these prisons.
That's enough. You get the idea. We have the worst entertainers and politicians, man. The worst. The worst. This was in the early 90s. Now think about the time frame, 1991, 1992. What started happening in the rap? This is for all my old heads out there that got gray in their beard like me. What started happening in the rap music? We started going from people that were conscious, from Arrested Developments to Poor Righteous Teachers, and everything started becoming materialistic, gangster rap music. It promoted a life of sexual promiscuity, a life of violence, a life of drug dealing, a life of not caring about other people. With it, think about this. Think about it in these terms. While simultaneously the media was running images every single night about the growing gang problem in Los Angeles and in the growing gang problems in the rest of the cities around the United States because of Los Angeles and Chicago gangs. Am I wrong or am I right? Any takers? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. We about to keep it moving. I'm gonna take my man off the screen though. You got the gist of that. The worst entertainers and politicians. I'm gonna show you our politicians. So people are like, well, you know, that's rap music, that's this or that or the other, right? A lot of people don't really put much faith in what rappers say. Let's just keep it real, keep it 100. They don't really put a lot of faith in what rappers say. But just in case, I'm going to put up my boy here, Frankie Diamonds. Now, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma was the scene of probably one of the worst tragedies in United States history. Definitely the first air attack, the aerial assault in United States history. Before Pearl Harbor, before, 9/11, you had Tulsa. The first time U.S. land was bombed was by other U.S. citizens on black people in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 1921. So you still have some people that are alive today in their hundreds. They're in the hundreds, like 104, 105, stuff like that, high ages. But you have this particular woman, and let me get her name real quick. I just had it. Viola Fletcher. This woman just testified in front of Congress on May 19th, 2021. For reparations for what occurred with the help and the sanctioning of the U.S. government in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or what we know as Black Wall Street. She went in front of Congress and testified. These people were there. What do her politicians show up and do on the 100th anniversary of this travesty in the United States of America, this massacre? What do her people show up and do? Let's take a look at it. This is what you voted for. This is what you vote for. Hold on. Let's get back. I'm gonna take that back because y'all got to see this. This is your Black Caucus, or like I like to call them the Black Caucasoids. Here we go. Come on. Is this Sheila Jackson Lee? That's Frankie Diamond's page. These motherfuckers dancing like they actually got reparations for this lady. In the survivors. They dancing like they actually got reparations, like this is a party and we're celebrating a victory. No, this is honestly all these Negroes could do. That's honestly all they could do. Those are our Democratic Caucasoids. Black Caucasoids is what I like to call them. This is what they did on the 100th anniversary of something that America has already admitted that happened. Now, why can't we get our check? And I'm not talking about me. I'm not from Tulsa. I don't have people from Tulsa. But why can't we get our check? Is what these people are asking. We don't want to see you come up and dance. Nobody wants to see Sheila Jackson Lee with the braid helmet come dance. Whoever that old dude was that was trying to dance that couldn't dance, nobody wants to see you come dance. Nobody wants to see it. People need tangibles. People need justice. That's why we vote for y'all. We have the worst entertainers and politicians. I'm going to move on. Number 6, we don't value each other for marriage or for relationships. And enough of y'all have seen the whole Kevin Samuels and all of these relationship guys that are kind of spawning off of this whole notion that we don't value each other for marriage or relationships. Now people are just going back and forth at each other, you know, hurling insults on both sides. Hurling insults at other dudes, women hurling insults at dudes, dudes hurling insults at women. At what point in time is family going to come first? Those are the building blocks of society. You know that. The building blocks of society is not the individual. The building blocks of society is actually the individual inside of a collective, i.e. the family. Why do we not value family? I'm going to keep it pushing. Number 5, we pedestalize females just because they are females, not for what they do. I'm ready for the smoke on this one. I'm ready for the smoke on this one. And I'm going to show you why. First of all, you just saw the first video with the Burks lady and the Dr. Cooper, Dr. Crump, with the thick brown toenails that I assume. We elevate, we basically have taken society, the way society is supposed to be built, and we've turned it on its axis. We've taken it and turned it on its axis and tilted it on its head. That's what we've done. A lot of times, if you'll find that when feminists or women talk and they invoke this strength, they're invoking the strength of people from the past and women from the past. But guess what these women were about? They were about family. They rose to the forefront to take care of family. Let's talk about this, though. And this may be not just because she's a woman, but it might just be because she's black as well. But it's something real bothersome about this whole situation to me and how people are responding to this situation. With Sha'Carri Richardson, with the weed smoking, getting ready to go to the Olympics. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get back to here. And I can't hardly even look at this chick, man. Like, I'm sorry. I am so sorry, y'all. But I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play it.
Olympics and some controversy actually before the games begin later this month. Last week, American sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson was suspended.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
For a month after testing positive for a chemical found in cannabis. She's acknowledged she smoked marijuana to cope with the death of her mother, and she says she accepts the punishment. She will not be able to compete in the 100-meter dash at the Olympics. This comes after the International Swimming Federation barred the use of certain swim caps designed for use by athletes of color. That's led to allegations that some Olympic rules are written in a way that can lead to discrimination. We're joined now by Jemele Hill, a contributor and writer for The Atlantic. She is also host of Jemele Hill is Unbothered on Spotify. Hey. Good morning, Jemele. Always good to see you. I know that you recently tweeted about the Olympics and said this is sending a quote message to Black women. What message is that you think the Olympics is sending?
Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. But when you look at the full scope of what we see happening at the Olympics, Simone Biles is probably the face of this Olympic Games, at least from an American perspective. And then you have the controversy around Gwen Berry. You fast forward to what happened with Sha'Carri Richardson. Now you have this swim cap ban that obviously affects athletes of color, obviously is an impediment to young Black swimmers. And so there is something that is there, and you wonder about these old school attitudes and how they have always, in many ways, disproportionately impacted athletes of color, but in particular Black people, because that's who we're talking about here.
You know that the World Anti-Doping Agency has listed marijuana as a banned substance. We know, too, that it's been legalized in nearly 20 states. Do you think that it's time to have a conversation about what gets banned when it comes to something like this? Even, you know, the president's press secretary was asked about Sha'Carri Richardson, and they acknowledge she's a phenomenal athlete. She has an inspiring story, but obviously she will not be competing, and she's one of the world's fastest woman.
And Jemele, it's not, as you know, a performance-enhancing drug either.
No, unless you have a bag of Doritos at the finish line. Like, I don't know what it is. But what I would say is that you have to look at why is this rule in place? And it seems to be more of a perception issue than actually going with what is the science. I mean, the fact is, in 40 countries, there is some form of legalized marijuana.
Okay. Yeah, in 40 countries, there's some form of legalized marijuana, which I'm sure the athletes that are going to the Olympics, which includes over 200 countries, that says you can't do the shit. They say you can't do it. Why are we pedestalizing this woman for smoking weed? She fucked up. Let's just be honest. Can we be honest? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. Because she's saying she's going to run in 4 years, she's going to be pregnant. Guaranteed. You heard it here first. She did not want it. Biological mom dies that didn't raise you. That was just an excuse. Did you go to the funeral? Is that what happened? Was the funeral in Oregon? I don't know what's going on. But this lady messed up. And we allowed her to mess up because we pedestalized her. Nobody told her orange hair wasn't attractive. They let her keep doing what she wanted to do, and she did what she wanted to do. Now she's not an Olympic, going to the Olympics, nigga. She's not going. There ain't nothing nobody could do about it. First of all, if I were the girls with the swimming caps, I would feel really offended that y'all are even drawing an equivalence between somebody who wants to cover their hair to compete and somebody who did not want to compete and smoke weed. These same people that see the nigga that lost his job because he smoked weed, they're going to dog him out. He's going to be all type of losers and scrubs. Am I wrong?
The mic drop.
Let me stop this though. But you want to talk about people that really have it hard and people that have a hard situation. Let's talk about these young ladies. Let's talk about these young ladies. Let me look this up. So let's check out these ladies right here. And this is on Pink News. I don't know what this is, but it's the one that popped up first. But it is a true story. I do know that. Olympic front runners forced out of Tokyo Games over naturally high testosterone levels. So these girls from Namibia, their testosterone levels are naturally high. And these are the ladies right here. Let me share this. Let me let you see this. These are the ladies right here. And I ain't picking at nobody. But they got naturally high testosterone levels. You could tell. I don't know if they're transgender or what. But there are actually transgender athletes that are allowed to compete in high school against your daughters that are on pills to regulate hormones. But these ladies can't compete. Now, these are real victims. Especially if it's just naturally high. If they banging testosterone, to be faster or whatever, then I ain't got nothing to do with that. But if their testosterone levels are naturally high, they should be allowed to compete. The ladies with the swim caps, they should be allowed to compete. Why don't y'all put the thing on that women put on when they put on these wigs? Why don't we put that on? So these are real victims, but they're not getting any shine right now because we have to give shine to the Black American female who messed up. She's not going to be able to get this opportunity back. I hope I'm wrong, but I guarantee you next Olympics, she's going to be pregnant, nigga. She's going to have some more kids. She's going to have some kids. She ain't got no kids now. She's going to have some by next Olympics. Then it'll be another excuse. You're the fastest woman in the world, and you didn't want it. But why do we feel sorry for her? If this was a male track athlete that was doing this, we'd toss him to the wayside. Am I wrong or am I right? But for the simple fact that it's a young black girl and it's Black Girl Magic days, she's getting put on a pedestal. You are not the fastest woman in the world because you can't compete. And I'm leaving it at that. What Tawana say, I don't know a story like that, but I saw or share about FloJo having the same exterior look as Sha'Carri. FloJo had long fingernails. FloJo didn't have the exact same exterior look. FloJo was very natural and just had long fingernails. And she wore the one leg up, one leg down joint. She had her own little flair. She was different. And I'm not really attacking the girl's flair. I'm not attacking what she's doing, but look, you got to be handling business, man. You can't be coming with all the flair. We don't need peacocks in this battle. We need real people to go. We need real people to be great. We need real people to be great. Cuz, call in. I'm going to turn on the phones. Hold on. Give me one moment. I'm going to get the phone lines cut on, man, because I feel like we got some folks that want to call in and talk about this. So let's get it popping. I got to get all my stuff set up here.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important...
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
All right, fam, we on live. Cuz, give me a call, 515-605-9708. Go on, drop your opinion. I'm going to keep pushing through it. 515-605-9708. All right, we're on number 4. We are intellectually dishonest at best. We're intellectually dishonest at best. First of all, kind of tagging on to the last one, the pedestalizing females. The reason that this is happening in our society right now is because black people via black women have allowed themselves to be infiltrated by white feminists. The whole movement of feminism is an intellectually dishonest movement. It's a movement that says that I can't tell you can't move the couch because you're a woman, but you know good and damn well you can't move the couch because you're a woman. That's at its core intellectually dishonest. It really has no enforcement arm. It uses the courts that have already been established to enforce its will. You don't have an army. You don't have a police department. You actually have to use men. That's intellectually dishonest at best. What's one thing that's at the core foundation of that movement? And this isn't going in on females. It's not dogging out females. It's just talking about why our society, our culture is standing on its head as far as values are concerned. That's why this is coming up. Intellectually dishonest at best. What's the core of the feminist movement? What is the core principle of the feminist movement? And I know I'm about to catch some flack for this one. I'm gonna shoot and I'm a duck. But the core power component to the movement is the ability to quit whenever you want to quit, i.e. the abortion. Still there? It is based on a system of non-accountability. And what's been allowed to happen is this has been allowed to trickle down into our society. Let me show you one more thing. I'm tired of showing this guy, but really, like I said, he's offered so many examples of what not to be as a black person that we have to watch it. We have to watch it. So I'm going to show you a clip of an argument with Mark Lamont Hill, or like we like to call him, Mark Lamoist Hill, and Judge Joe Brown. Everybody's been going over it, but I have my own conclusions on this. So check it out.
Was he sure that the woman was sober enough to consent? He said, I don't know. But there's a bigger question here: is if someone willingly takes pills and becomes high and drunk, can they legally consent?
Sometimes you can. Used to be you could. They had a change in there back 25 years ago when they were saying, no, you can't. But before that, basically, you could. That's why they told
right.
you.
So, but we're talking about the
sober.
law. So then, Judge, again, since you're saying we should appeal to the law, if the law says that you can't be
intoxication, where you did something to them they didn't consent to. See, that's when that law started changing from you got yourself drunk, you are responsible to know the bartender's responsible because he lets you get drunk. That's when that change started coming
Bill
about.
Cosby's admitting, Bill Cosby's admitting to giving women alcohol and pills for the purpose of having sex, and if by the law you can't consent if you're drunk or high.
Go out to dinner or you have a party or something. So
yeah,
does
but
that
that's
make
not the
them
same.
taken
That's irrelevant,
advantage
Judge.
of because they do something they would have done anyway? A whole lot of them I knew back in the years would
that's
take
sexual
drugs,
assault, Judge.
particularly Quaaludes. They did that a lot. I had a lot of female clients I had to get out of messes because they had a fondness for Quaaludes. It's not cool.
Yeah, but it's
I mean,
okay to take.
don't you bear any responsibility for this, especially if you keep going back?
No.
All right. Did you notice how Mark Lamont Hill could not bring himself to even see the logic of Judge Joe Brown's argument? When Judge Joe Brown would hit him with something, he would come back with something more ridiculous. Do y'all not see that? That's what I'm talking about. Intellectually dishonest is best. So I'm going to go over a couple of intellectually dishonest quotes. This is just for those, just to bring it home for those who don't know what intellectual dishonesty is. Man, Joe Biden ain't did nothing for black folks, man. Oh, man, just give him time, man. You can't do it overnight. Intellectual dishonesty.
They smell like a pile of bullshit!
Intellectual dishonesty. Man, you know, Obama should have did this, and man, Obama couldn't do it for us.
They smell like a pile of bullshit!
Intellectual dishonesty. I'm going to push through it because you can call in with your opinion tonight. I got to make sure I drive this one home. But I definitely want to hear your input. Call in 515-605-9708. That's the type of thing I'm talking about. Whenever you get into it with somebody and they don't want to hear no sides of it, it's like, I was on Facebook, man. I smooth got cussed out by this chick, man, on Facebook. She's still on my page too, as a matter of fact. She should remove herself. I'm not gonna say her name, but really she should remove herself. But she literally cussed me out for trying to hold Raphael Warnock accountable because he's out next year. I don't know if y'all Democrats realize that. We have a special election in Georgia, and Raphael Warnock ain't did shit for black folks. So guess what's about to happen to Raphael Warnock? Catch that nigga at Ebenezer. Catch him at Ebenezer, because he's not going to be in the Congress or the Senate next year. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. So this majority that everybody's enjoying while they're not doing nothing for us and pushing everything through for them, this is the price. These are the wages of being intellectually dishonest. Because whether you want to deal with the facts or not, the facts are going to happen. You have to realize that. The facts are going to happen whether you want to deal with them or not. So you might as well factor them in to your plan. Comes from a society of everybody should feel good, though. Everybody deserves to feel good. Everybody deserves to feel better. I'm moving through it. We neither respect nor have the respect of our elders. We don't respect them, and we don't have their respect in return. We're just here, coexisting. Whenever it comes time to talk about anything that deals with our future or our political future, our elders tend to talk at us and not really to us or with us. They talk at us about what we need to do. You need to vote for Joe Biden. You need to do this and that. And I know I said vote for Joe Biden. I actually didn't tell anybody who to vote for. I had my own reasons for that. But this is not going to be a Joe Biden suck up fest. I had to say that to not say anything else. This is not going to be a festival sucking up to Joe Biden and everything that Joe Biden and the Democrats do. Because one thing about it, when he needed us, we couldn't get rid of this fucker. Now he's avoiding us. He's ducking us like the plague. He don't want to talk to us. I never really wanted to vote for him because we needed him. We just needed to give these Trump motherfuckers a little bit. Give them 4 years, cool off, regroup, get Trump back in there, and then we'll see what we're going to do. Trump's coming back. And Trumpism is already there. It's almost to the point where it's going to be a majority in the Senate. Because there is going to be a price to pay. And you're not going to make us feel guilty for not, once again, putting them in power. See, that's what y'all don't understand. Our future is directly tied to your future. Or vice versa. Your future is directly tied to our future. Because once black folks opt out and decide we're not going to vote, feminism, immigrants, LGBT, all that shit's going out the fucking door. Fucking realize it. It's all going out the door. So everybody can be happy getting their shit right now. Go ahead and get it. But back on the point, we neither respect nor have respect for our elders. We don't seem to get it. We don't come to any kind of conclusion on where we need to go. And I get it. They grew up in a different system than we did. They grew up in a different system than we did. They grew up in a system where you can go get a job at a factory and work for 30 years. But you have to understand, elder, that kids nowadays or younger people can't just go do that. Gone are the days to where you can have one stream of income and make it, especially working at somebody's job. On the other hand, young black folks, I understand we're supposed to respect our elders. I understand why you may have problems with your elders, but we still have to talk about it. You still have to stand on your square on things that are important to you. We can't just cut off communication. This is a whole part of our culture. This is a whole part of our population. This is part of our strength in this country. And if you think you don't need other black folks, we're going to talk about you soon. There has to be some kind of middle ground. I feel like maybe my generation is the middle ground between the youth and the elders. I grew up with elders. I grew up around great uncles and, great grandmamas and shit like that. I grew up around that. A lot of you younger cats, your great grandmama is 50. She still goes to the club with your grandmama and your mama. I get it. I understand. A lot of our elders are people that did come from not necessarily the 50s and the 60s. A lot of our elders nowadays are people that were born in the 70s like myself. Early 70s. And them Negroes definitely scared. Let's keep it a buck. Ain't finna lose a job. Ain't finna lose a paycheck. Not one. I'm going to keep pushing, man. I'm about to wrap it up. I don't know if Cuz going to call in or not. You calling in, Cuz? Number 2, we don't value each other's dreams, ambitions, or lives. We don't value each other's dreams, ambitions, or lives. How many folks have had a discussion with our people about our dreams only to get them shot down? Only to get them shot down. Just like that. How many of your people would rather see you work 2 jobs than see you fulfill your purpose? We got a call in. Let's see what we got. Yo, you on a big mic drop?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yo, what's happening? What's happening? Who we got on the line?
Oh, Mike, this murder, man.
Man, what's happening, brother? What's happening? How you doing?
I told you I was gonna call in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah.
What are some things that you hate about being black, brother?
Man. Well, I'll tell you what. Everything you said tonight, point. And I think I don't know if we covered this because I just got some training.
Yeah.
But one of the things I hate about being associated with black is the glorification of prison, glorification of going to jail, and the glorification of the struggle that I had when I was an inmate
Right.
in prison.
Right.
And man, you don't know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? Living 3 cuss cells, watching another nigga shit, and I don't know about cuss.
No, you can cuss. Go ahead, brother. You good?
Flipping doo-wop bags, man. And, you know what I'm saying? And having to watch a nigga gun, man. You don't know what it's like, man. I just sat down the other day, and you know what I'm saying, man. You don't know what it's like, bro. I'm like, dude, I don't care.
Right.
You can't convince me that going to prison, doing a crime and going to prison is gonna make me hard. And being up in jail or prison amongst a bunch of niggas.
Isn't that shit played out, bro?
In there.
Isn't that shit played out though?
It should be played out.
It's played out, man.
It's horribly played out.
Yeah, it's horribly played out. Men, as men, we need to be on point, man. We need to start being men again, bro. We need to start being about what's right, bro. That's why I'm doing this right now. We got kids out here losing their lives, man. This shit is real out here.
Man, these kids, man, these so-called OGs, man, got these boys believing they're going to prison. It's the next best thing to going to college and getting a job.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm for trade school. I'm for getting a trade because college ain't for everybody.
Right.
But goddamn it, prison ain't for nobody.
Right. Absolutely. My bad, bro. My bad, bro. I had to give your hands up on that one. I had to give you a hand on that.
You good. Jail and prison ain't for nobody.
Right.
And ain't nothing to get acclimated to. And then do these fools know if they go back and just read a little history that, slavery was abolished, but it's only abolished unless you're free. But when you go to state prison,
it's back on.
A ward of the state. That means you a slave to the damn state.
It's back on, brother. They gonna buck break you and everything in there.
They do, and I don't understand why. Because I got family members, I got partners. They're in a rush to get back to their cage, and I ain't never understood that. I mean, what are you doing? Why are you going back? Did you forget something in there?
Hey, I always tell them they left a boyfriend or a girlfriend in that motherfucker. Shit.
I'm trying to be cordial with it. I'm trying to be cool with it, but I don't want to stand that, homie. Hey. I mean, just like I said, the conversation we had earlier. It ain't nothing that's gonna make me substitute what a woman got between her legs.
Absolutely.
It just ain't.
Absolutely.
Ain't nothing a substitution for that ever. And they got between their legs, God gives to a man.
And I ain't even get on that aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? I made the list without even hitting that aspect of it.
But it's something about prison. But it's something about prison, something about jail that, just for some reason. And this is what I understand about our women. We, as black men, well, not as, let me delete that. Okay, black women. For some reason, because I said I've been in the field, and I ain't hating no in no shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
But they love niggas that have been to prison. I don't understand that.
Hey.
They are more faithful to the dudes in prison than they are to the dudes that's out on the street free.
Bro,
working a job.
I got to bring this up to you, man. I got to bring this up to you since you was in the business. What you think about the little Mexican chick, man, out there? And I think she was in California, man, that was like smashing the prisoner. The dude that was in the county jails in California.
Man,
I mean, dude in front of 11 people.
Let me tell you.
In full sight of other inmates, bro.
That happens. Hey, bro, it happens.
Wow.
It happens. Only thing is, inside that cage is a different world.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some stuff, it's things that don't get seen, and it's things that don't get seen, you know, outside is getting seen inside, but they just don't let you know everything.
Yeah.
She got caught. If she would have never got caught, she would have still been doing it.
Man, they say this chick was sneaking razors in and cell phones and everything, man. She was going to get somebody fucked up in prison.
It's prison contraband.
Yeah, she was going to get somebody fucked up in there, man.
How you think? Oh, man. Let me tell you something, man. The worst thing you can work around in the jail, not all of them, because I still got some people that work in there.
Right.
That's female. But the worst thing you can work around is a woman that has some type of affection or anything. Because they may know that. They see that as soon as she hit that part or hit that damn just to be there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can get her. She's sweet. Ooh, she's sweet. That's what they say. She's sweet. She's sweet. So to all my partners, man, that's in that type of field, if you working around women like that, hey man, just tell me you don't want to work with them. You don't get you jacked up. And I'm gonna tell you like this: I didn't get jacked up because I know how to throw my hands extremely well.
Right. Hey, we're gonna talk about that too. We're gonna get you on here, man, and we're gonna talk about that too. We talked earlier today. I'm gonna get you on to talk about them hands, brother.
But what you was talking about the respect of elders, man, and you know it's hard to break elders that grew up around that time, and the Democratic Party is not the People's Party.
No, it's not.
It's not. I'm sorry. The Democratic Party was the first people that initiated and developed and founded the KKK.
Absolutely.
They were started by the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
But a lot of black people don't want to see that.
That's the intellectual dishonesty, brother.
It was, man, bro.
That's the intellectual dishonesty. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened to the black man. The black revolutionaries of back then, they tired. They see where back in the day all the work they did, because they gotta realize, man, we from Mobile. We were whooping white people ass in Mobile.
Absolutely.
You know, we didn't have that problem.
Absolutely.
They didn't want to have. We didn't have peaceful marches in Mobile. See, my dad back then, he was one of the revolutionaries.
Right.
He used to tell me stories about how they beat how the Klan came down Prickett Mall, did a march, and got their ass whooped by a bunch of black brothers with Afro picks. That's why we're still Afro picks. That's why they banned it to steal Afro pick, and that's why you see the black Afro pick with the plastic.
Right.
Because they beat the shit out the Klan.
Oh wow, that's an interesting story.
And a lot of people also, a lot of people also don't know that the race ride and the dock, black people won that race ride. But when you got white journalists that can flip a story, they'll make it seem like it was more black people that got killed than white people. But that's totally untrue.
Right.
You still got some people that's alive that worked on the dock and they had that race ride, and they said, look, hey, we won that.
Down on the docks.
That's ours right there.
Right.
They trying to rewrite history. That was all victory. But the thing that happened, and I hate to go off it, but the thing that happened to the elders, why they don't respect us as much, because at the end of the day, we have a rebellion that they didn't have back in the day. They had to ask to be rebellious. We don't.
Right.
And the job and retirement and 401k took the fight out of these old cats. It took the fight out of them. It took the bite out the dog. It took the teeth out the German Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have to fight no more. They tired. And that's not an excuse. But if you tired, my elders, if you tired, let the young boys come in and do their thing.
You gotta let the young boys come in. You gotta let the young boys come in. You cannot be mad at us.
Hey, we ready. We got some people that we can't fight with. Now I'm gonna tell you like this, and I ain't got no issue with these other people, but I can't fight with an effeminate man. I can't fight a war with an effeminate man because he gonna get me killed because he gonna have some type of infatuation for the enemy.
Right.
You can't do that.
Excuse me.
You gonna get me killed, man. So the best thing to do is pop you, push you to the side, and let me finish doing what I gotta do.
You keep it moving. Hey, brother, you ain't gotta go nowhere, do you? I want you to hang with me because I'm about to hit number one. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Because we're getting to the point we're gonna wrap it up. But I'm about to hit number one, man. And this is probably gonna be the hardest one to talk about, man. Let me go and get to my notes. Because there's some things I want to discuss in here, man, about strategies and tactics that we're using.
Right.
All right. Number one.
The mic drop.
We ignore the Bible, especially Christians. We ignore the Bible. We ignore the principles of the Bible. I would call the Bible a living document. Would you agree? You there, Sean?
The Bible as a living document.
The Bible is a living document.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I would say that the Bible is a living document.
Hey.
Why is it that? Go ahead.
I'm here.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, you go ahead. I don't remember.
I just say it's a living document, but a lot of Christians treat the Bible like it's dead. They treat it like it's something you could just pick the pieces off of that you want to pick off of. Do you get where I'm going?
I agree.
It's like any action-oriented principles that may be communicated in the Bible, and I think the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's just my little, thing for it. But the Bible does teach you how to deal with action-oriented or action-based solutions. Am I wrong?
No.
It lets you know that there's a time and a place to go into action. Go ahead.
Right. To me, the Bible is an instruction manual. You read the Bible for instruction. But you gotta think about but when we get some let's say we get some equipment or we get this TV or something we have to put together.
Right.
Most time we bypass instruction and just go off of, okay, let me look at the box and see how it's cooked up or how it's put together or whatnot. We don't really want to take time to read. So you gotta think about pastors, churches, and the church industry. And the church is an industry.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't want to believe that.
Absolutely.
So what they're doing is they're getting paid for your laziness. If you too lazy to read the Bible, they're getting paid for your laziness. And the parts that sound good to y'all, that counter to your emotions, that's where they put out the Bible. And they preach to you.
Right.
The story of Nat Turner, the slave master had him preaching the submissive part of the Bible.
Right.
And then when he started preaching the resistant part of the Bible, that's when he became an enemy.
Right. And that's my thing, man.
These preachers are really preaching the coddling part of the Bible. Okay, this is gonna make them feel good. This is gonna give me a few $100,000 in my collection plate on Sunday. You know, not, and it ain't no knock on pastor. You know, y'all. That's what y'all. I don't go to church.
Man, pastors dope dealers. Let's just keep it honest. You sell it.
No different. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it man. I'm gonna keep it on some man shit.
Okay.
Pastors to me, because you know I grew up around, and my dad, you know, all my uncles, they was mad.
Right.
So, ain't no different in the preacher and the pimp. You gotta think about it. The preacher sits high up on the pew.
Mm-hmm.
That means he's looking down. You have to look up to him.
Mm.
He's wearing nice suits. He's wearing jewelry. He got a cold mouthpiece.
Right.
He's more appealing to the woman.
Mm.
Now, you look at the church as a whole, there's not that many men in the church.
Not many at all.
Now, but you got the deacons. Now, the deacons, they're the ones that they really don't believe 90% of what the hell they pastor saying. They just kissing his behind so they can get his leftovers.
Right.
Like I said, not knocking the church industry or what they doing. I don't go to church.
I have to knock it. I have to knock it in a sense.
Game when I hear it.
I have to knock it in a sense, man, because I do know game when I hear it. And see, the thing.
I know game.
Yeah, I know game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When something ain't sounding right, man, when your situation is at its worst, you know, for somebody to tell you to pray and do nothing is wrong, in my opinion. I've never known any situations to where I had to do nothing. And once again, it kind of links back to the intellectual dishonesty, is that people say, oh, I'm just going to pray about it and it's going to be okay. No, saying that is just your way of saying you're going to not do anything.
You scared.
You scared.
The church and praying also took the fight out of these niggas.
Yes. It's masochistic behavior,
really
man.
No fighting, is it?
It's like masochistic
really
behavior.
No people, man.
I think about how Dr.
Really
King, the Dr. King that they like to quote is always the Dr. King of 1963 and before. You know what I mean? If anybody, especially a Republican, they're going to bring up Dr. King, it's always going to be a speech that was way before Dr. King died. And I'm going to do a show to where we go over his last interview that he had. But he discussed where he really was at that point in time in his life. But they like to keep him frozen at this Gandhi type of, as the Gandhi follower. He was a follower of Mohandas Gandhi.
But Gandhi hated black people.
But Gandhi got 500,000 people killed.
Hated black people.
Gandhi got so many people murdered.
And he hated niggas.
Yeah. He got 500,000 to 1 million people killed, bro, with his nonviolent protests. And this is the type of leader that we're flocking to. We have an affinity for weak leadership. And that's why I put this as number one. We have an affinity for weak leadership. Go ahead, brother.
Piss off a lot of people what I'm about to say.
All right.
And I don't give a damn.
Okay.
You don't like it, come with me. All right. Every time, you know what makes me sick to my stomach? Every time I come Black History Month or Dr. King's birthday, they always do a march on Selma. Why are you marching in an area where we were defeated? It's like you celebrating a loss. You got an ass whoop. And we didn't even throw a punch back. I hate that. Oh, I'm going to the march on Selma. Why? Well, if you ain't going to Selma to whoop some ass, don't call me talking about we going to the Selma march over that goddamn bridge. Who gives a fuck?
Man, they ought to blow that damn bridge up and rebuild it and make something else.
Jimmy Lee Jackson. The guy that got killed, Jimmy Lee Jackson, you think he's looking down like, man, I'm so appreciative of the fact that they marching for me. He looking like, why y'all ain't getting these fools back that got me? Why y'all marching?
Right.
You know, we got Obama and, his people like, problem with black people is we love symbolic victories. We love symbolic victories with no actual reward at the end. Gotta mean something to us.
Right.
It gotta mean something.
Do you think
we ain't getting nothing from it, but it means something?
I think we're evolving past that though, because we got more brothers speaking out, bro. We got more brothers that's on the type of shit that we on than we do that's not. And we slowly but surely reaching out to them and we networking. Man, brother, I appreciate your call, man. I appreciate your input on this.
Hey, no problem, man.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Homie.
All right, Murray.
All right, now. I'll be
word. It's my man Murray on the line, man. Murray, man, give it up to Murray, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get my man back on the show, man, because he got them hands for your ass. So that's the last one. For now, we ignore the Bible. Every principle inside of that thing should be up. It should be something that is high up on the priority list for us. Every commandment. Right now, we're not doing too well. We're breaking all of them. I appreciate y'all for checking this show out tonight. I appreciate y'all for letting me vent tonight, because that's pretty much what this was. Ronnie will be back on the 15th. She's enjoying her vacation, and we're going to be back with that heat. I will be back Thursday with some more heat. We're going to talk about some more stuff on the Big Mic Drop. But before I go, I told y'all I was going to tell y'all something and show y'all something, man. One of these things, and it reminds me, I'm always constantly reminded. One of my buddies on the Blackout Coalition today asked the question, why is black on black crime taboo for us to talk about? And I think that we live in a society where accountability as a whole is taboo right now. The thing is for people not to be accountable. V-Lane, definitely will catch up Thursday. Come through Thursday for me. For real, I appreciate it. But this whole thing is for us not to be accountable. The lack of accountability is what's sending us further and further and further behind. It's setting us behind. I hope that I'm reaching some people out here. I hope that I'm inspiring some people to change, or maybe even tell somebody to change if you don't want to change yourself. But I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. But for those who don't know, there were actually black people involved in the murder of Emmett Till. Did you know that? You know, one of those pivotal moments in our history, one of those moments that is set for being one of the moments that kicks off the civil rights era, is the death of Emmett Till, the lynching of Emmett Till. But did you know that there was black people involved in the murder of Emmett Till? That's why I say we don't care about each other, our dreams, ambitions, or lives. Do you know something? If you're jealous of a cat, if you're jealous of a skill set a cat got, do you realize that killing him is not going to make you be him? Do you realize that? You need to strengthen your own skill sets. And stop worrying about the next man's skill set. I'm going to end it out with this tonight, man. I just want y'all to see this. First of all, we ignore the Bible, especially Christians. I do have to show you this because this is your Bible guy. That's your Bible guy right there. This is your biblical guy. This is the guy that provides the soundtrack for what you worship. And he has a suit on that is basically a replication of the transgender flag. Looking real funny style, Kirk. Also, Coon of the Week. I ain't do a Coon of the Week last week. But Coon of the Week, he's still the Coon of the Week from last week. Mark Lamoise Till. Mark Lamoise Till, ladies and gentlemen. Coon of the Week. Coon of the Week. He's one of these type of guys that would have did something like that to the brother. But check this out.
In 1955, Emmett Till's mother, Mamie, tried to get her government to bring the truth to light. She sent a telegram to President Dwight Eisenhower urging that justice be meted out to all persons involved in the beastly lynching of her son. In spite of FBI records and news reports at the time citing specific individuals, President Eisenhower didn't take any action. Emmett Till's mother died before the government reopened the case this past spring, a case based largely on the research of Keith Beauchamp. Among his discoveries was Henry Lee Loggins, now 81 years old and living in Ohio. At the time of the murder, Loggins was working for J.W. Milam. FBI files from 1955 refer to witnesses who claim they saw Loggins on the truck with Emmett Till after he was abducted. One respected black newspaper at the time even reported that Loggins allegedly held Emmett Till down as Milam and Bryant tortured him. Loggins was also reportedly ordered by them to attach the fan from a cotton gin around Till's neck just before tossing him into the Tallahatchie River. Henry Lee Loggins is now under investigation by the Justice Department. When we talked to him recently, he denied the allegations that have dogged him for half a century.
I wouldn't sit here and tell a lie. I wasn't with them people. I ain't saw nothing.
How do you think your name came up? I mean, not just in newspaper articles, but also with the FBI. Why did people say that Henry Lee Loggins was there?
I can't figure that out. I couldn't figure that out to the day.
Henry Lee, how do you explain all these stories that just won't go away?
Such as what?
Such as you were there on the back of the truck.
Which I wasn't.
That you participated in the abduction, the kidnapping, and the murder of Emmett Till.
Which I wasn't.
That you tossed his body in the river.
Which I wasn't. What's your name?
Ed.
Ed. Mr. Ed, I wouldn't sit here and tell you no lie. I don't know nothing about that case.
What are you going to do when the FBI comes knocking on
I'll
your
tell
door?
them the same thing, that I wasn't there. And that's them too. Lord know I wasn't there.
5 other black men, now dead, have also been implicated in some way in the abduction and murder of Emmett Till. If any of the allegations are true, the question is why.
Knowing now that black men could possibly have been involved, I just keep thinking, about what could have been going through Emmett Till's mind, seeing this.
And how do you explain that? That
we know
they would
that
turn on one of their own?
We believe that they were forced to participate in the crime. It was going to either be them or Emmett Till. It was shocking at first because for so long you've heard, white men were involved, and that was it. It was a white and black name. You couldn't help but, be amazed.
It seems clear that black men were involved. Emmett Till's late great-uncle Mose Wright said there was a black man on the porch when J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant came to take Emmett Till.
That's a trip, ain't it? My internet's acting up. I appreciate y'all for joining me tonight. I'm going to leave y'all on that one tonight. I'm going to leave y'all on that one. And I'm going to let that resonate and let you think about that and preparation for the next conversation that we have on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Rest in peace, Ladarius. This is, it's fucked up. We're gonna get better though. I appreciate y'all for joining the Big Mike Drop tonight. I'm your host, Big Mike. We'll see y'all next go round. Till next time. Peace.